Hello. Hey, Okie. Need to find a way. Let's see. I'm just organizing mine and Caden's because he got some new Pokemon cards today. I'm just organizing them. I figured we could have a chit chat about this morning. I want to know what everybody's feeling. Oh, this one's already in a sleeve. Nice. Hey, Mal. Hey, SoFlo. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. That's 3, 2, 4. Hey, girl. Hey. Oh, really, SoFlo? Oh my God. You need a tutorial for what? What do you need a tutorial on? Look, let me show you. Me and Kaden have been collecting for years, bro. Years. Well, let me show you. He's been trading too. So we have them in order. Like I think these first three. Okay, yeah, the first 3 pages are rare cards, or if they're not rare, they're hieroglyphic. See, some of them are. I know it's hard to see, but some of them are shiny. And then I've got them color coded. Green, blue, purple, orange, white, which is silver, and yellow. These are orange, but they're like a hieroglyphic orange. Then we got purplish pink, dark blue, and then trainer cards, and then energy cards. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages left I can fill up. So I just figured while we were talking, I'd do this just for something to look at. Hey, Brantley. Oh my God, that's so fun. Hey, Lady K. You don't really have to know much about them, honestly. Let me cut the flashlight off. It might be too bright on them. Yeah, hologram. What did I say? What did I say? Hieroglyphic? Lord, fix it, Jesus. Holographic? Holographic? Jason. All right, so let's. Hey, bombshell. Hey, sweets. How you doing? Sweet stuffs. Jason is my second BFF. Oh, I don't quite understand the you know who would be the best person ever to talk to about that? That girl. She is obsessed with Pokemon, but she understands how the Pokemon evolve into other Pokemon. I don't. I just like the cards. So this morning, hey Jennifer, I'm good, bombshell. Just chilling, girl. Just chilling. The hieroglyphic cards. No, the colors don't matter. That's just my brain, y'all. I can't help it. I can't help it. I had to get them somehow organized by color. Uh, so we've been having a lot of discussions. The Bulbasaur will forever be number one. That's what Caden thinks too. We've been having a lot of discussions in Discords about the TPE and Granny and, you know, everybody or the few people being outraged about what Granny said on Jay's panel yesterday. And I want to be as transparent as I can be. But I went when I seen TP's post last night, and I don't know, maybe it's because I was tired as hell. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. But when I seen her post last night, and she posted in her comments that at the 2 hour, 48-minute mark is when Granny says what she was so upset about. So I listened to the 2 hour, 48 mark. I listened to 2 hour, 49 mark. I heard her say, well, we all know what I think it was, what Granny said was something about Chris didn't want Sebastian around Faith. And I was like, well, that's true. So why is everybody so upset about that? That's true. Like, that's been stated. It's been said. Why is everybody so upset? So after I got off Granny's panel when her live shut down, I went and listened to more of it. I went a few minutes ahead of 2:48, and then I went a few minutes after 2 hours and 48 minutes. And that's when I found what TPE was tripping over. Hey, maniacs. Hey, baby. Okay, so what it was that was said, and I still don't think it was done intentionally or in a bad way. Um, but I think what TPE was talking about is when Granny said he probably did this to her, and that's why Chris didn't want him there. I don't want to say the names just because it's already out there. I don't want to put it out there more, but I think that's what TP is upset about. And it's like I was talking to Deets and I said it's that word probably. He probably did this to her. Like that is in a sense, it is kind of putting something on him, you know? Yeah, I was getting there, maniacs. I was getting there. That word probably is a huge problem. And I messaged Granny after I went and seen it. And I told her exactly what I think the problem was that probably sentence. He probably did this. Um, do I think she did it intentionally or to be malicious or to put speculation, malicious speculation out there? No, I don't. I think that she was just talking and she was in the moment, but it is the type of speculation we speak out about. It is the type of speculation we are against. So it's like, to an extent, I still like, I feel bad for Granny, but I kind of understand what TPE was saying. And so my apologies, TPE. um I went to this timestamp you put in your comments last night and I was like, what the hell? There's nothing here. There's nothing here. Why are they tripping? So when I woke up and seen Granny was live, I seen Chasen was up there talking with her. And Chasen had seen the same thing I seen. The part where she said, well, we all know because, Chris didn't want him around Faith. That's what me and Chasen, I'm not trying to speak for Jason, but I'm pretty sure because I talked to her in Discord. Pretty sure that's the same thing we were both thinking. That's the same thing we both see. No, y'all can absolutely be free spoken here. Don't sit on your hands. Don't sit on your hands. We're open here. No, Granny said, I never said I didn't say that. I acknowledged I said it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it was for malicious speculation. Yeah, she does get it. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't call you a liar. Roll the clip. I'm on my phone. Yeah, I didn't hear the probably part initially either because I do know the timestamps now. I've got them things memorized. Because TPE put in her comments that it was 2 hours, 48 minutes in. So I went and I listened to 2 hours, 48 minutes. I guess it's my fault for not going longer, but usually when you're given a timestamp, it's like right there, you know? So then when I went back this morning after Granny's Live, I went and listened to, I think I went to 2 hours and 52 minutes. The part where she said probably was at 2 hours and 50 minutes, 58 seconds. So I should have just done my due diligence and listened a little further, but I still don't think it was maliciously done. Plus the whole Chris's mom messaging Seth, contextual clues. Some can ignore them, but don't say I said it. His father did. Yeah, Seth did say it. There is a lot of context to it. There absolutely is, and that's why I said like we should have went way before because I was in there when that was said. So I didn't even catch it like that. Like I didn't even think of it like that. How is she going to support someone who killed their child? And who killed their child? And tries to call others out, but not that person she's friends with. Oh, she didn't kill her child. Um. Oh no. Okay, she didn't kill her child. Her dad unintentionally killed a child by setting a house on fire. Thank you, Dad. I don't know if your friends would share or not, TPE, honestly. But I do feel like TPE's community post, and it could be because, these call out or these clip channels, they focus on all the exploitation, they focus on all the bad. So it could be that they're just overwhelmed with hearing shit, right? I do think TP's community post was a little overboard because it's still the anger in it still didn't match what I went back and listened to this morning. But that's her own, that's her right to be angry. It's not my right to say anything about it. Sorry, I'm way behind on chat. No, you didn't fabricate it at all. I know, Pearl. It's sad, ain't it? Yeah, and that's what I was saying because, like, it was so quickly said that, be real, I didn't even hear it. I went back and listened to it a couple of times this morning, but I was on the wrong timestamp. But even when I went back this morning after Granny's Live and I went through listening to it, I was like, I just, like, I still wouldn't have even noticed that that was said because it was just kind of like a quick statement, you know? And I wouldn't have even known about it had they not highlighted it. That's what I'm trying to say. But again, they're allowed to highlight what they want, but it just, I felt like it brought even more attention on it. So we don't have this card. No, and that's what I told you this morning, Granny. Like, you might need to do a recap, like when you had to respond to Brittany J that time, because she refused to understand that Chris, or not Chris, Seth had actually put that stuff out there and said those things. I don't have a skitty either. Yay, we got a new skitty. I do got a skitty, but it's not the same picture. Hold on. No, it's a totally different. It's skitty, but it's a different card. So let's move this one. Let's put him down here. I'm so behind on chat. God, y'all are chatting fast tonight. Do I need to go get on the PC? I agree. I agree. Like, Seth exploited his own child. I mean, plain and simple, by even putting that stuff out there. Okay, I've got a. Yeah. So then what makes, and this isn't a dig at TPE, I'm just saying, like, what makes TPE right and Granny wrong? If the highlighting is what showed a lot of us what was said. Otherwise we wouldn't have known. It could be wrong on both or right on both. Guilty. And I also have to agree that I'm kind of biased right now in the sense of feeling like there is a divide being created because I feel like Chronicles of the Shady is doing that with me right now, and it's like, do I think that's her intentions? Not necessarily, but I do feel like it is happening. And so I kind of sympathize, and to an extent. This is the same. This is a sister card. I do sympathize to an extent with Granny, feeling like she can't catch a break, like there are certain people out here coming for her. twice on Pascal, once on Justin on TikTok. And I actually think he might have said it somewhere else too. I feel like there's somebody missing in there. Yeah, I do too, not that Amber. I think everybody has different lines and different um things they would consider a tragedy pimp. Hey, Melissa Jane. I know, I agree, Granny. But that's what I'm saying. That word probably made them feel like you were putting that on her. You see what I'm saying? Right, Mizzou. I absolutely I get that. I get that 100% because I am one who actually called out Brittany J for uh the whole I think this is a new one. I don't think I have this card. For her alluding to there possibly being a essay. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what the fuck? Why would you put that on him? But that was also before Seth came out and put it out himself. I got a new one. I got Sharpedo. I agree with that. Tragedy Pimps exposed. Hey, Silent Angel. Hey, Kate. Right. I feel like honest discussions are needed. Like, I appreciate conversations like this. And I appreciate honesty. That's why I said, like, I absolutely have a little bit of a bias right now because I feel like I'm nowhere near being gone after the way Granny is, but my words and the things I'm saying are being twisted and put in videos and community posts. And it's like, why? Like, and it's from people you wouldn't expect to do that. Yeah, they did speculate before Seth came out and said something about it. You don't think you was a little hard on Granny? I don't know. Tragedy Pimps Exposed. Have you had a history with Granny? Like, you don't think that that community post was a little rough? Well, to be fair, unsupervised maniacs, I don't think that a child's essay was used as content. I think that they had had a long ass conversation before they got to that part, and I think the conversation just kind of led into it. And I think the solution for everybody, Granny, you guys, everybody, would be just when we're having these discussions, let's just try not to let it go there that way because we got to remember some people's lines are different than ours. Like everybody has a different line. No, Mizu. Nope. 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 They said that before Seth ever came out and said anything. It was one of her first few streams. I'm sorry, but you're wrong on that one. Brantley, you gonna get in trouble discussing that. Well, I think Tragedy Pimps Exposed. I think it's because you're such a integral part of our community. So people trust what you say and they value your opinions, I kind of agree with that, Damon. Yeah, that's kind of how it's starting to feel. And I think there is a line. I don't say attack Seth. I say, but if you're having a conversation, it's totally fine to bring up the things that he has done to exploit his own child, in my opinion. Yes, Jules, sometimes I've had that happen with me plenty of times. Sometimes the call out brings more attention than the actual live did. I know nonsense. I just listened to one of his videos and I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. One of his latest videos, I think it was today. I didn't look at the date, but I'm pretty sure it was today. I was like, you got to be kidding me, bro. Like, we're over here arguing in our own community about a word that made something sound a little worse, but I don't know. I don't know. Why isn't he doing a rescue ride for a reward fund? How about that? Instead of a groomer, a dog groomer. And it ain't nothing at that dog groomer, but damn, Sebastian ain't even got a reward fund up. And it's hard also, TPE. You got to remember it's hard because you don't do lives. So it's hard for people to have the conversation back and forth with you. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Queen Bella. Ooh. And do y'all want a link? If y'all want a link, just let me know. And see, that's what I'm saying, Tragedy Pimps. We don't know. I don't personally don't know where you're coming from because you have your own experiences. No, inappropriate. That's a good point. Inappropriate does not necessarily mean SA either. Could have just been inappropriate behavior that she was speaking on. Let me get these color coded cards. Yes, please try to be kind. I know it's a sensitive topic, but That one's a holographic. Yeah, this place is shit, Jason. It absolutely is. I feel disappointed is what it comes down to. It's a buildup, not just one thing. Oh, I'm so behind on chat again. I'm sorry, y'all. If I'm not, Granny wants the link. Okay, I got you, babe. Hold on. Unsupervised, I would love if you, or Tragedy Pimps Exposed, if one of you want to click the link, I would love that. These are my cards, fool. These are both of our cards. Shit. These ain't just his cards. Y'all better recognize these are mine. I put a lot of effort into these damn cards. Pretty sweet pea, they are Pokemon cards. Hey, babe.
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, I can't hear you, but it might be me. Let me
It
put my
may
earbuds
be
in.
me.
Hold on, give me just a second. Okay, say something.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You can't hear me?
I still can't hear you.
Okay, 1 second.
That's so weird. Let me try this again. Could y'all hear Granny? You can hear? Okay, let me go get on my PC. Let me go get on my PC because it might be my phone. Hold on, Granny. Hold on. Hold your tits, girl. Hold your tits. Let's go over here to my PC. Let me grab my charger and my cigarettes and my drink. And we're going to go over here to the PC. Bear with me. Okay. Let's go. Make sure you don't hook to my hotspot. Make sure you don't hook to my hotspot. Okay. Hold on now. We're getting it. We're getting it. We're getting it. I want to see the chickens. Mama brought her guinea over today, but I can't find her. I don't know where she went. You know, they're free ranging. I mean, but they're even more free ranging than the chickens. The chickens will stay in the yard. Guineas? Nah, they don't give a fuck. So hopefully she'll show up. My computer's starting up, guys. Oh, Brantley, thank you so much. I appreciate it, best friend. Best friend. That's my best friend. Me too. No, a guinea fowl. It's a guinea fowl. But all the other guineas are gone. So it was just that one. And I said, well, I don't have guineas, but I got fowl. I got chickens. So bring her over here. That way she at least has some other fowl to be around, right? All right. I'm going in. Hold on. Y'all just ignore my kid if you hear him in there cussing. He's in there playing Fortnite. Okay, I'm leaving out of here. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, we're here. All right, let me drop the link. Okay. And I can see the comments way better now. Thank God, Lord. See, I just shouldn't even try to do live on my phone. You like my astronaut? Uh, Somebody save that guy. I just feel like it's hard to have an open discussion with people that don't go live. You know, like, how are you supposed to conversate that way in the comments? That's hard because people don't necessarily know the tone that you're speaking with, or things can be taken the wrong way, you know? Hey, mama. So while we're waiting, we will. I don't know. Shut up, Stevie. uh, let's see. Let's go to YouTube. Let's go to uh Every Day with Jay. And that's what you know what? And that's what leads to more issues is not understanding people, not understanding necessarily what's being said or it's being said or the tone it's being said in. You know what I'm saying? Here she comes. Babe.
Am I working now?
Yeah, you were working. It wasn't you a problem. It was a me problem. I hear
Well,
you good. You're
sometimes
good.
my phone won't work and it gets, you know. Whew.
Yeah. How you feeling? What's on your mind? Say what you want.
Well, I'm upset that Sunflower misunderstood my comment and that was taken to be a comment towards somebody else. What I was saying to Sunflower, and I wasn't saying it disrespectfully. Listen, I'm a victim myself, okay? And I shared this several times, so I don't want to hear any shit like, "Oh, Granny's making this up." It's been shared on my channel many times. I'm a victim myself. I would never, ever, ever intentionally put that on a child. It was speculation as to why the things were said by Seth. But
Yeah.
I don't want Sunflower to think when I said, if the subject is too touchy for you, then please like leave for today. It wasn't to be like your feelings don't matter or I understand how touchy the subject is. It was more, I wasn't saying it to be disrespectful. I was honestly being genuine. Like, I don't want anybody being hurt by this topic, but I also feel like I have to defend myself on this because that is not, when I said inappropriate, I never, the thought of physical never crossed my mind at all.
No, and that's what, yeah, I seen your comment, like, inappropriate does not necessarily relate to
Physical.
SA. Yeah,
Right.
physical.
And then if you listen on, which I do find it odd that the timestamp given is not even the actual timestamp, but if anybody listened in further or if you were there for the conversation, I do reference what Seth said, like when Seth was on Pascal's. I know, I mean, I don't even, are you going to get in trouble for me discussing this? Like, is it that, can we not discuss what was discussed by his dad? I'm kind of like, I'm not saying this to be a smart ass. I just don't want to cause you more grief.
You talking about me?
Yeah.
Oh, girl.
Like, if
No.
I'm saying where my thought was, I don't want to cause you more grief because it is going to bring up what his father said.
No, because, and that's what that was one of the points I was trying to make is Nonsense has discussed what his father said. I've discussed it. Dietz has discussed it. Chasen has discussed it. We've all discussed it. So why is it such a huge deal now? And I understand that what they found a problem with was the probably.
Yeah, I did say probably instead of possibly.
I think that was the main issue.
I mean, one of, you know, like there is a channel that calls out my speech all the time. I'm not the most like articulate person. Shockingly, I can say the word articulate, but I'm not. You know what I mean? And I was caught up in the conversation. It doesn't excuse it or justify it. And, you know, TP, I know you're like, oh, Granny, you missed, like she goes overboard. Okay, but there are people that don't admit they go overboard. Like, with utmost respect, I live up to my standards. I'm sorry that I didn't meet yours. But when I said I'm no longer going to discuss the case unless something of relevancy comes up is what I wrote. I do feel like his father being on that show the other day was of relevancy. I didn't mean that I would never go have a discussion anywhere ever again pertaining to the case. And I don't feel like just because I have, that's like, oh, that's it. You know what I mean? I slowed down on it entirely because it is personal for me because of what I just said. There's a lot of personal factors to this case for me. And I get that it's taboo and people don't like it and we don't want to talk about it. And we all envision, you know, this innocence that comes with children, but sometimes that is snatched from them. And his own father said, I mean, go listen to what he said on Pascal. His own father said the behaviors, you know, my son's not a P word. He's just a kid that didn't get the proper help. He led to all of this. Like, I didn't pull like a conspiracy out of my ass and say, you know, this is probably what happened based off zero facts or, you know, just pure speculation. For me, that's where my mind goes based around what his father said, what his father said Chris said, what his father said Chris's mother said. I mean, do we just think that the grandmother woke up cranky one day and was like, I'm going to call? Like, I just don't understand why we have to like act like these things weren't said. They were. And they're ugly.
Yeah, they are. And it's not like the whole live.
I did. I called him a bitch. I called Seth a bitch that stream. I did. I said he looked like a bitch pinned up against the car.
I mean, but he did. I'm just saying. But
it's not like I was like, and went on this whole like 10-minute rant about the guy's looks. I just said he's very intimidated by Chris because Chris puts him in that position.
Yeah. But it also, I seen something said that made it seem like that whole live was about that one topic.
No,
and it wasn't. It was a conversation that just led there.
Right. And I knew I shouldn't have, you know, like looking back, I'm like, damn, I wish Jay would have just been like, yeah, no, we're not going to discuss it. Or I wish I would have just realized myself not to discuss it. But it was literally maybe 4 to 8. I don't know the time frame. But compared to the hours long, like how long the stream was, it was nothing in comparison to that. And they're acting like this was my theory based out of thin air. It's an observation as to why Seth would have said those things. And the fact of the matter is, Sebastian does disappear just a short few weeks later. I mean, I find it to be significant. I understand others don't. And I understand it's taboo, so we can't really express that idea of any of that playing a part of it. But it is an unfortunate fact of the timeline in which his father has put out here.
Yeah. More than once.
Several different ways. When Pascal asked him to elaborate what he means by that, he said, "Oh, something along the lines of it might get your channel shut down. Like it was
Yeah.
that inappropriate, it might get the channel shut down." Like I don't know. I'm sorry that these things stuck out to me, and maybe because I said it, it is personal for me on that aspect. Like I know what that feels like. I know the tabooness around it. I know that even when everybody's like, don't talk. Well, you're all talking about it now, so guess what? We're all the same.
Well, yeah, that's what I said. Like, because I was actually in that live and I didn't even catch it. And then when I went back last night, I didn't catch it. And I was like, the part I kept going over last night was the timestamp that TPE put in her comments. So,
Which is a little off. I mean, we didn't have to
it was
discuss my
yeah, it was like 2 minutes
Brandon.
early. Yeah. And so when I went back this morning after your live, I said, okay, so what did I miss? And I went back and it was actually 2 minutes later into it. And yeah, that's only 2 minutes, but that's a whole 2 minutes I didn't think to listen to because I went to the timestamp that was posted.
Right.
But even in the moment, it didn't catch me off guard when like I didn't even catch it like that. But now it's all over.
It's highlighted.
Because yeah, it's been highlighted. Yeah.
And again, it can be argued that is just as harmful because what would have been a 4-minute discussion out of 4-hour stream is now everybody's discussions. And I get it. That's what we do here. I'm not saying I'm above it. I'm just asking, are you really above it? You know what I mean? And I've been saying this from the beginning when it comes to, calling out tragedy pimps and which line we're on and which side we're on. It's a very thin line. Some of you crossed it with me. Like I just,
I've definitely crossed it.
And for you unsupervised, I don't know why you keep taking everything so personal to you. You never crossed my mind today at all. Not a singular thought was towards you. I didn't see your community post. I don't know about it. Your comments in here, I wasn't responding to you. I was talking to Sunflower. You were completely misinterpreting everything I was saying because I wasn't putting physical essay on that child. I just wasn't. I said inappropriate. We heard he was inappropriate with students. He was inappropriate when it came to personal space. He was sharing inappropriate stories. Inappropriate is a broad spectrum. If that's what you interpret by what I said, I do apologize sincerely. But you don't get to make it like I said that, and now we're going to pull out all the, burn all the pitchforks and come for Granny because what she said was so horrific.
Yeah, I didn't see it as being as horrific, and that's why I asked TP, like, do you think that your community post was a little hardcore for the reaction was almost not worth the hold on, how am I want to say this? The action, was it really worth the reaction? And she said it's just her opinion, just like she said right here. I'm not sure why it matters so much what I think. Seriously, people have opinions all damn day long. And I agree with that.
I agree with that too.
Again, TPE, again, people look to you, to clip and they respect you and they trust the things you put out. So,
well, it's not just that. It's that with your opinion, you wrote, you lost a lot of us. You did that to me last time. And it's like, oh, like you're not. And then you were deleting opinions, or I was told, I don't know if it's true, that opinions that weren't agreeing were kind of being deleted. Or again, I wasn't looking, so I don't know if that's true. But your opinion was more written like a fact. And you really wrote that I did something that I disagree that I did. I disagree with the way you interpreted it.
And that's another thing. We all interpret things so differently. Like, and that's what I was talking about earlier with some friends is like, they may interpret it different than I am, and that's okay. I like having the open discussions to bounce things off of one another. Early for context. Yeah, I went in early, but I didn't see you say also keep listening, but that could be my bad. That's what I'm saying. It could be my fault because I didn't just keep listening. I should have kept listening, but I still would be in the same position I am right now where it's like, yeah, but see, the highlight brought more attention on it. And we have to be careful of what we highlight because I've done it too. I've brought more attention on something that didn't need attention on it.
Well, then look, when people are angry, everything you say gets kind of twisted and, I just experienced that in a chat where everything I wrote was being misunderstood or taken directly at somebody it wasn't. And so once you already have like this, you know, conception of somebody, everything you see them say and do comes across in a negative format. I'm guilty of it myself. But I strongly disagree with I mean, because she added more things than just that. It wasn't like, or it was also like, and oh, you said this and you said that. And what did I do 3 times to you or something? Because I clarified that on Jay's. Um, Others were saying you weren't open to discussion, and your communications came across that way. You said, I don't care what anybody thinks about the hashtags. This is why I feel this way, save your excuses or something. So that meant you were closed down to the conversation. So when I said it seemed like you didn't want a conversation, that was why. The other thing, I don't even know what you're referring to, but I said on Jay's that I misunderstood. I corrected what was said. You said we belong. You didn't say we belong together. You said we've been working well together or something, whatever it may be. So I don't know what else, but she like wrote it out. Like there's several things I've done that makes her have the problem with how she feels about me, which is fine. Again,
she's going to be back in just a little bit. She said she has company, is what TPE just said. So she'll be back in 15 to 20 minutes. But I think Unsupervised can have her opinions. Tragedy Pimps Exposed can have her opinions. Granny can have her opinions. And we just have to realize they're not always going to all align. And we're not going to agree on them. I mean, it just is what it is.
Right.
There's nothing, I mean, but is it something worth fighting over?
Well, that's what is it all that is worth fighting over, or is this being highlighted because of other things is my question.
Well, there's you a question, TP. Is this being highlighted because of personal issues, or is it really this specific thing that you want to, go back and forth with Granny on?
Well, not the specific thing, but a accumulation of others, because it was also stated that I said one thing on, I guess, the Jerks panel, and then it did a completely different on Jay's. First off, I didn't go on to Jay's with the expectation like, oh, we're going to drag Seth today. That's for starters. Secondly, everything I said over on their platform, I also said on my own. Like I'm not changing how I feel based on where I'm at. Did I get like a little more into the conversation? Did it come, the conversation roll a bit? We all do, right? We don't sit and talk to ourselves and get excited. Well, you kind of bounce off other people. But to say like no, they're all public platforms. I wasn't not hiding what I'm saying. My feelings don't, bounce dependent on where I'm at. It's a very public, both streams are very public with a lot of viewers. I don't think I'm getting away with anything in one place or the other.
I mean, I feel like you're pretty much the same across the board no matter where you are.
Yeah. How I felt.
Hey, Eve.
Hey. I know I'm back with Granny again on a panel, and I'm not trying to take over any conversation. I just think that it's important that the hypocrisy is where some are having an issue with. And I think that that's important to piggyback on the issue that Granny is having.
Can you allude more into like what specific hypocrisy? Because it's all over the damn place.
No, it's a daily reoccurrence, and everyone is privy to doing that on their channel. But there have been times where I have watched TPE's videos, Chronicles videos, and others, and it's exploiting a creator's child that even though they spoke on their own child and it was inappropriate, why are we repeating that information? Isn't that the same thing?
I would think so. I stand by. I believe we as creators have a right to share what we like with our community.
Grab a link and quit talking in the chat, please. Like if you want to come up here and speak instead of hiding behind paywalls and talking smack, just come up and take the link.
No, she's welcome. She's absolutely welcome up.
You know what, Oopsie? I'll show you what a tragedy pimp is and doing what for views and money. I can do that. Can absolutely
Tragedy Pimp said, tattoos, I don't do what Granny does. What specifically do you feel like Granny does? See, that's a good question. like with that comment, I don't do what Granny does. What does Granny do that you don't do, TP?
I say live stream. I know that's not what she meant, but I'll say that.
I was just trying to get clarification. I'm just reading chat.
See, and I also feel like there's other things at play, right? Like Eve came up on my panel, so now that's going to have others upset. I was alerted through emails some things that PJ has done personally to people that I actually liked and respected. So that's going to cause issues. Like there's not everybody's always aware, or they get judged based on, who they associate with as opposed to what they've, like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
What you're saying? You were alerted to things that PJ's done?
Yeah.
After the stream today?
No, like in the past to somebody that
Oh.
they're probably going to be upset because PJ's done this pretty wild effed up things to her, and I'm like, damn, I'd be upset too. I didn't know. Whatever. Like we're all females. There's a lot of personalities.
Yeah, there are a lot of different personalities. There's that line again, right? Like nobody has the same line. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
Earth says you can blame whoever you want. Eve, I don't give a fuck. What I care about is why did you bring my name up in your stream, and for what reason? I never did anything to you.
I used you as a
Oopsies.
reference as a channel who clips and goes live about it. I never said anything wrong about you. Can I not mention you? Are we that policing right now where we can't say certain things, and if we do, it's because we know somebody that they think is crazy?
Did somebody say police?
Like just because I
gotta run.
just because I backed up somebody for some erroneous stuff doesn't make me crazy. You can gaslight all you want to, but the truth is the truth. If you're going to speak on somebody exploiting somebody's story, a child's story in this way, and you're doing it, whether it be a creator that you hate or a victim, you are no different. So the hypocrisy is my personal issue. You could spin it that you're different and that your motives are different. It is what it is.
Oopsie, that bird says, shut the fuck up.
That's so ridiculous.
I mean,
why are y'all being mean?
I don't understand what Granny's a felon that doesn't want to get a job, so she's a tragedy pimp. The three don't even go together, my friend. They don't even go together. I'm actually.
Why was Granny singled out when she was on a panel with 4 people? What 4 people?
Because it came out of my. I mean, to be fair, it came out of my mouth, right? I said, probably instead of possibly, and yeah, I mean, but I mean, to be fair, it came out of his father's mouth, and I think that is what's being a little misunderstood here. Is I wasn't like conspirizing. I was basing off what his father said. Like, if we're to take this all, like, this has all been put out there, we're put this all into a timeline. This is what it is. This is how it appears to me. Is,
so
doesn't make it any different. I'm just saying, like, I didn't say like, she was a victim of Sebastian. I never said that. I never called Sebastian the P word. I never did any of that.
Tragedy Pimp said the difference between you and her is she doesn't go live and exploit missing kids or bash families. I don't bash parents. That's just my line. I don't care if Eve came on your panel. If that was for me, you guys do you. I just do not agree.
Okay.
Awesome. Already squashed that on Deets Live months ago. I think everybody on this panel was on her live. You were there too. Like, do we have to rehash the same stuff to get your point across? I don't think it's necessary. I haven't done anything since.
Lord have mercy. Oopsies, you can be disappointed all you want. I ain't being Captain Saving nothing. I came live to have the discussion about what happened this morning. If these ladies want to come up, I was hoping unsupervised or TPE would come up because it's hard, again, like I said, to have a discussion when it's all over text. But I get TPE does most of her stuff through typing and texting, and I get that. But I've known unsupervised to panel up, so I was given the space if they wanted it because it's just so hard to conversate openly.
Really good, Gemini. There's a lot of people I could bash if that were the case. Matter of fact, I don't think I've called out anybody else's content as far as this goes. I've called out Betty, and I've discussed the case. But yeah, it's not like I'm out here saying like you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. I'm not doing any of that.
Maybe it's because you're doing well, and you got to share that well,
It might be.
right? And I do see that on this platform all the time. Don't act like it's not a thing. You know, if you bash the same creator, for instance, that's obviously a train wreck and will never change. When they go, if they get arrested or if they drop off, somebody's got to be next. And if the better you do, the chance goes higher for that you're going to be that next victim of tragedy simpers.
Well, that sucks because I feel like there's far more harmful things. Like the woman that just said Chris was probably saying Sebastian. I think that's far more harmful.
Yeah.
But, you know, I get it. You chose me, and that's fine. I do what you do with it. You know what I mean? I know what my intentions are. I know where my heart stands, and no title through YouTube is going to change that for me. None at all. That's fine, good Gemini. There's a lot more things I could be pimping out then. I don't care. Like, that's what I don't care. You calling me that or anybody calling me that is not going to change, like, really anything for me, to be quite honest, because I know where I stand. I know what my intentions are. And yeah, I stand up to my own standards. I know my personal boundary. I know I crossed it. I had a discussion on Jay's. I mean, I don't know. Was I like, because I acknowledged that I went too far and I was going to chill out with it, meant I can't have any further discussions on it. There's people that are still going live every single day, tagging Sebastian Rogers and or Seth and not entire family. And some aren't even discussing that the entire time. That's not what I'm doing. I went and had a conversation on a panel that wasn't even meant to turn into what it turned into.
No, that's what I was saying. It's not like that's what the discussion revolved around. And Mizu and no, Earth, I didn't say anybody has to panel up. I was saying I was hoping that unsupervised maniacs would come to have a conversation if she wanted to. I was literally just given the space. You see what I'm saying? Y'all take things and you hear them the way you want to. Period.
Right.
And
Yeah,
I don't think I said that either. I said it's respectful. If you're going to call out somebody, no, you don't have to. You're not obligated. But it's the right thing to do if you're going to pinpoint someone and say that they're doing something horrible. You know, that's just how I feel. You don't even have to cam up, just speak with your words that you use on your videos.
Chi-Town's right. Matter of fact, she had all the audacity to comment on that post. Yeah.
What post?
TPs. Laura, what she's saying.
Oh. Yeah, that was some foul shit. Yeah. It's just, I don't know, where do we go from here? Like, the infighting of our community is just getting outrageous. No, I know, Earth. I know. It's
right, be real. That's what
Yeah.
I was saying. Like, where does the line, where does it begin and where does it end?
It depends on who you are. The pecking order of YouTube. So if you are a well-respected creator who does, excuse my language, fuck shit behind the scenes, but they are liked, they're going to get passes. It's got to be a big blow up. So they have to do something really bad.
Right. And the only reason I'm saying there are people that are doing worse and far more harmful is because some of those people are in the comment section, right? Some of those people haven't been highlighted, and some of them it appears because there's an association with. That's just my perspective, right? We can all have an opinion, and that's my opinion on it. I don't think it just intentionally that you overlooked all of that. I think it's more than likely for a reason, and that's okay. Just like you said, I lost a lot of people. So did you, TPE. I got a lot of support too. You know what I mean? Like you keep holding that over my head, like you lost a lot of us. Okay, all right. I'm sorry I disappointed you. Sorry you disappointed me. So what's it have to be? Like, do I have to go through all your videos and pinpoint everything I feel like you've done wrong? Like, do we want to make this a whole big thing? Like, does it have to be a whole big thing? And I kind of feel like that is the intent. Because if I'm being honest, I think Ziggy's getting a little dried up.
Thank you for saying that. That's exactly what I'm getting at. She's old news. You know, you can only rehash that stuff so far. People are losing interest. What's next? Because if
Right.
you really wanted to advocate for a child, right, you would try to help Seth, for instance, get off the platform or do something more, I don't know,
Constructive. You want to be friendly
constructive.
with
Thank you.
people that are moderating them, right? You know what I mean? Like you want to be in conversations with people that are directly saying Chris and Katie, took Sebastian out of their unalived, right? That wouldn't be, So I do. I feel like it is situational. I never said it's fake. I don't think anybody's outrage ever is fake. But I do feel it's situational because I'm situational. I know we get like that.
It seems to me like Tragedy Pimps is saying like
Mm-hmm.
that's just her opinion. She's sticking with it. You're welcome to stick to your opinion.
Yeah.
Hey, Pearl Girls.
And we do
Hello,
learn as we
everyone.
go.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I wanted to say something. Granny's been picked apart over this, and it didn't come out like everybody wants it to be took. She's done her apologies over something that some take wrong, and some of them just want to fly with it. And I think she's been picked apart enough.
Well, TPE,
Everybody makes mistakes, and if
TPE said there was more to it. So
There was
maybe
more
she
well,
to
can.
One,
they've already put this stuff out there. They put it out there themselves. Otherwise, we would have none of us known it.
right.
Yeah.
And
You
Like I
know,
said, I was there and I didn't hear it.
yeah, I know. I was there too, and I didn't hear it. But I mean, you can take a text and fly with it if you want to. And I think she's been picked apart enough. She's done said she's apology. She feels bad about it, whatever way somebody's took it, and I think they've done it very wrong.
but their thing is, Pearl, that I've already apologized, so I'm not due any more apologies because she feels like I didn't hold true to what I said, I guess, a week ago, which was that I knew I went overboard with Sebastian's case. But in my perspective, my personal perspective, I did hold true because I wasn't going live. I'm not going live every single day about Sebastian, about Seth, about any of that. There's been a lot of stuff happening. We see what JLR is putting out. I can grab onto that. There's been a lot. There's been a lot of There's a lot of things going on that I've intentionally stayed away from because I know I went too far. I went up
I
on somebody else's panel without the expectation of the conversation becoming what it did. That's it.
well, exactly, and we've all made those mistakes, but still, at the same time, this has all been out there, folks. It's just whichever way you want to see this. This is nothing that's just, oh well, it just now come up that so and so might be doing so and so to so and so. Anybody can sit here and text all day long and put on out here, and it's just according to how you want to take it. And I think that
There's no
enough is enough already. Y'all have she has been picked apart. Now I could see this if this was the other one that's running up and down the roads chasing everybody and saying that she's going to sue everybody. Yeah, beat it up. It's wrong. But Granny by far has done anything wrong here.
I mean, I've done some wrong, and I do really appreciate that, Pearl. I've definitely done some wrong. I also think I have a lot of people that are very consistent in calling out my past behaviors. And they're so loud and so proud with it, where others, we're not digging into everybody's begin and start to YouTube, right? So, like when TPE just wrote, we're supposed to learn as we go. I am learning as I go. This is
Yeah,
a
we're
whole
still
new
doing
arena
that.
for
Yeah.
me. Right. I'm still relative. It's not like I've been on this platform 10 years. This is a new sector, a new, like, not sector, but it's a new topic for me. I am learning as I go. If I was to dig into every single creator that calls out anybody else into their beginning starts on YouTube, I guarantee we will all come out wearing that same red letter. There's something that
Exactly.
each of us have said and done wrong throughout our time on here. I'm just being highlighted right now. And there's always,
And
I've highlighted people. We all highlight
that's so
people. So it's
wrong.
fair.
But the thing about this is also too, honey, I've heard you say over different panels that you had your settings to where you ain't clickbaiting nothing. And I get so tired of people saying, "Well, you're just a clickbait." No, if you was
Me?
clickbaiting, honey, I think your settings would be entirely different. Jay told you the other day, Granny, you need to change that up. You could do a lot more.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I was
And
clickbaiting by any means, to be honest. I actually intentionally like tried not to clickbait. I mean, of course, I want a catchy title. That's what we're here for. I mean, are we not like? I don't know. Like that is what YouTube's for. Like a catchy thumbnail, a catchy title, a
right.
catchy description. Like I'm not out here like fabricating things or intentionally clickbaiting things by any means. I don't even know where that came from. But
No, and
okay.
you never say, hit the like button, help me, or beg
Oh,
for money like the others.
I do say
I
thumbs up,
use
please.
I usually hit on that just every chance I get because I know, I don't have a lot of money, so I can't sign up to nobody right now. But if I can help in any way, I'd like to do that.
Right.
But this beating, you girls are beautiful. You girls is very good at what you do. Y'all need to stick together, and hold up for one another. And when they come in and they want to beat you up, hey, y'all jump in and hold up for the other one. Because there's
That's
going to
really
be
sweet.
some on there that's doing that already.
So somebody wrote in the comment
The
that
one,
it wasn't the title, it was the conversation about ads. Well, if I wasn't being called a tragedy pimp, I wouldn't have to explain that I don't even put
well,
on the
that
ad
was what I
revenue.
meant. Tragedy pimp.
Right. Like,
Tragedy pimp.
Well, why were you watching? Like, what were you being watched
wait.
to slip up?
Well, oh yeah, I knew
Why?
I
somebody
don't
was
really know
watching.
who done that.
Sorry, that just confused the hell out of me.
I don't really remember who was saying that, but
I know
it
who
ain't
was
no tragedy pimp.
there. Well,
I can name you off some tragedy pimps if you want to just sit here and listen to me. But I think we all know that, so there's no need in naming them.
yeah,
And
and
besides
again,
all this, so you put that in the wrong perspective or whatever. I could take and send you a text and you could think, oh well, and I've had people come back on me and say, well, what'd you say that for? Well,
yeah,
stop and take it the different way because I'm not meaning nothing bad by nobody. But
right, Jenna.
I hate to see anybody at all being picked on and picked at and pulled apart like you're getting right now. I hate that.
Well, I do
Stick
appreciate that.
together.
I mean, I will say
Yeah.
there was a point in time where I do feel like I was, tragedy pimp babying, I guess. Like I was kind of becoming
Same.
what I was calling out. I
Yep.
recognize that. But like I didn't realize though that meant like I was like signing a waiver that I'll never discuss it again type of thing. I'm still passionate about it. I'm just not expressing that every day on my channel is what I meant by that. I wasn't saying like I'm not going to discuss the case at all because well no, I understand how passionate I am for it. And if my passion makes me if passion is pimping, then I'm pimping my passion, I guess. I don't know.
You're
Yeah, I
you're not
just
pimping, honey.
What up,
That
pimps? What up?
I mean, if we're gonna word salad everything to death, can we the whole pimp word in itself is
it's
sexual in nature.
disrespectful.
Why
Yeah.
are we associating it with creators and the content that discusses missing children in itself is problematic. If
Right.
you're
Well,
And I agree.
hashtagging tragedy pimps exposed, it goes against the sexual nature hashtag guidelines. If we want to get technical,
Can I jump in for one moment? Would that be okay? I don't
Absolutely.
yeah.
want to interrupt, and I apologize for interrupting, Eve.
No, you're fine.
But listen.
My
As
content
somebody-
hasn't. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna
No,
mute.
go right ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to say really quick, my content has not been Sebastian all week. It has not. It has not. I cover Betty here, Betty here. I covered Gypsy Rose. I covered TB's conversation, which I was very respectful, agreed, and took my, whatever. Then I covered them on Vinniepolitan, and then I didn't cover them again. So no, I didn't.
I have some questions that I would love to just get some answers on, or opinions from you guys, because there's no wrong answer when it comes to opinions. But as someone who has definitely stepped out of my lane and criticized others, and yet hates to be criticized when it's my turn, and I am going to come 100% clean, Granny. I'm speaking at you. I was a little confused by your comment. I'm not going to lie, but it seems to me you've taken accountability. You've apologized. And this was how many freaking months ago? Like, is there nothing on YouTube today that we cannot cover other than just rehashing the same bullshit on the same?
Thank you.
I'm so I'm not coming to anybody's rescue. I'm legitimately
doesn't
asking
even-
as a fellow fucking creator.
She doesn't even
This is
particularly
so
care for,
old.
right? Like we've had our differences as well.
We
So
have.
coming from you means like a true lot to me. I don't know.
I'm being sincere when I say this to everybody on the panel. Like, is there a point in time? Like, we can all be held accountable, and we can all hold ourselves accountable. I think we like that. We can hold ourselves accountable. I don't particularly enjoy being called out. I'm not going to lie. It doesn't make me feel great, and I don't love it. But I will tell you that every time I've been called out, I've learned a lesson from it, and I try to walk away with a lesson. I failed to see the lesson here when we keep rehashing the same case, and we're biting up. And please forgive this term, but I feel like we are just cleaning the carcass here. Like, we are picking the bones off of whatever is left. Hold on. I'm live. Thank you. I just feel like we are just picking apart the last splinters of something that isn't even, we don't even know. And we're going after creators that we should be teaming up with. We should be having each other's backs on. I'm coming in not as a creator tonight. I'm coming in as a subscriber of many channels who don't get along. And I'm going to catch shit for coming up because, hey, I like Queen. Hey, I like voices. Not everybody does. But yet I love Jones, and I'm enjoying everybody up here. I'm just tired.
You get no shit from me. I will not give you shit for hanging out with voices or Queen. Like, that's just not how I am.
appreciate that.
But people will give you shit. Other people will.
I know. Oh, I know. But at the same time, I'm not here to disrespect anybody on any
That's
side.
right.
But you guys, I'm tired.
yes, ma'am.
I want some new information. And if there is no new information, can we just find something else to do with our time other than picking each other apart? I'm guilty. I have picked Granny apart publicly and privately. I've done it. I'm here. I'm done.
And I deserve it. Listen, I deserve it. And I deserve saying probably instead of possibly. I do. My biggest thing from it was, please don't say that I put SA on that little girl, because I didn't. I understand the interpretation, all this, but honestly, I was repeating the timeline of which his father gave. And I'm sorry, it is ugly. I shouldn't have done it. If I could take it back and get off that panel and not say a word, I wouldn't. But as a victim myself, I don't appreciate being told that my perspective doesn't matter and that we should all be
Hey, Megan.
shamed. And there's a shame that's written with it. And I don't think it's fair to place that shame and be like, oh, well, this is so shameful for Sebastian. Yes, it is. It's an unfortunate thing, but he doesn't have to be shamed by it either.
Honey,
I
he was shamed when
appreciate
they
other
first brought
creators
that up.
holding us. I appreciate other creators like TPE holding us accountable. I genuinely do. And I
Mhm.
think there's valid points that can be made on every one of the videos done. I like I said, when I screw up, I learn something from it and I try to walk away with the lesson. And not every time do I do that because I'm not that bright. But is anyone else tired of this?
Yes.
Seriously.
And
Girl,
if you're
I
looking
started-
for it, like if you're looking for something to sound the way that you expect it to because of the past, you're going to hear it exactly that way.
Right.
And you're going to go into uproar instead of taking the time to really listen. And
Agreed.
yes, why can't you just go to the creator or comment under the video and ask them instead of just going straight to Final Jeopardy with it? I think it's for a reason. I think that it's the new content to go over. And that's called content simping or pimping, whatever you want to call it. I mean, be real about it. Otherwise, you wouldn't make the videos you do
Right.
about
These
people.
girls
So you
are
think there's a
beautiful.
reason behind
Tragedy
it?
Pimps Exposed. I did not think you were an asshole in that video
No, I
in any
didn't.
way,
I
shape, or
didn't either.
form.
Neither
I
did
really
I.
didn't.
I agreed
Actually,
with her.
my first reaction was there were some people in there that I agreed with you on. Some people I didn't, and that's okay because that's my opinion. And I didn't have to reach out. I didn't have to do a live explaining who I thought was great and who I thought wasn't.
But that's the
based on
problem,
who I
right?
like.
It's the ride off lives that take place, right? It's the one person kind of starts like they stand proud. And for me, TP, it's the way that you said it. You said it as if I said it. And you said it as if I said something so horrifying, where to me, that's not what I did. So I'm like screaming into the air, like, no, I've always stood staunchly against that. I'm not a fan of doing that. I've always spoke against it, always. And then I see people that have done in the comments and like there's conversations taking place. I'm like, well, wait a minute. You actually put essay on the Wells boys and on these kids. And you just said watching PORN with your kid isn't bad. And, and I know that some of the people are only there to hate bond over the fact that you kind of stood with the fire lit. And then here comes all these breakdown pitchforks, right? Because that's the way it is. Because we all in this sector, instead of working together, we all ride off each other. It's always the same topic from channel to channel to channel. It just is.
Well,
I
I don't
wanted to
disagree with you
pinpoint
there.
Eliza's. I'm sorry, Tia. I
No,
have a
please.
delay, I
That's
think.
quite all right. Go right ahead, love. I'm so
I
sorry.
appreciate what you said, and I agree with you. Like we're tired, and so when you make statements like Eliza posted, I
Let
am
me
just
see.
so
Where'd it
sick.
go?
I'm so sick of
It's not true, Chi-Chi Cooter. It's not true.
the parents.
I played it today.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
been so tired of people rehashing drama at the expense of missing kids and their families for a long time.
Mhm.
Okay,
That's
that part. But
exactly
wait,
why I came live and said, stop fucking waterboarding me with Granny's past.
it could have just stopped with I have been so tired of people rehashing drama. When you put at the
Period.
expense of missing kids, which was not the discussion, it was the discussion of why people feel this way. It wasn't at the expense of children because Granny didn't ask to be called out for something that was misunderstood or not intentional, whatever you want to call it. So that last part is irrelevant. That came up because that was that's what she was claimed to be doing. That's not on Granny. You're right. And I'm not saying Eliza's saying that. I'm just saying that's what it looks like when you word it that way.
Well, I
But see,
think
here's
that let's going back on the past and stuff. If we all went back on the past, we'd be looking through a rearview mirror. Our direction now is to look straight ahead through a windshield of what's going to be and what's going to happen, as to go back on somebody's past and just beat the fire out of them. Because how
Eliza,
many
your
of us
opinion
have?
matters. I didn't say it didn't. Just wanted to clear that up. Sorry.
Well,
I just feel like we can do better as a community. Listen, there is no true crime community left. There's nothing. It's zero. I haven't gone live because we can't talk about the subject that we want to because of the trial coming up, and that sucks. But and to be fair, we're kind of taking the summer and chilling off because the drama is too big for me to deal with. I don't want to be sucked up into it, and yet here I sit. right? So I'm a hypocrite. But I didn't come up here to start drama. I came up here to just say, is there any way to just agree to disagree? Yes, she said something.
Yeah.
Can we
Agreed.
just all like kind of say, okay, who among us hasn't screwed up? Come on. If you're calling people out, then you know those fingers turn back on you and you get to get called out. And I'm not interested in calling anybody out because, to be honest, I don't want you calling. Get out of my space. I don't need you over here calling me out on my shit.
Yeah.
I handle my shit just fine.
Right.
We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And I'm not speaking to TP. I'm talking to everybody. I really am. Because like I said, I thought TPE's video was very good. It was interesting. I disagreed, but I didn't have to go live about it. Disagree with public, just, is there a way to move past this and just kind of, I'm not saying kumbaya. Listen, I am not saying kumbaya. I'm just saying, is there a way to move past it so we can do some content that people are interested in? I don't
Well,
know.
yeah,
TPE said she only goes to creators privately that she respects. So otherwise, it's comments and lives. If you wanted an answer, I'm just being honest from what I've seen. So if TPE has a different view or thought or changed your mind, I don't know. I mean, that's something you'll have to answer.
Everybody moves past it after everybody's expressed their opinions, right? Because that's how this sector works. Everybody puts their 2 cents in, and like you said, you guys didn't over the video, but everybody did, and that's fair enough. My biggest thing is just
no. I know it's chasing. I know what it's about. I'm throwing the whole thing in a basket and saying, shut it down. Just stop. It's not doing any good. Who are we holding accountable and why?
Well, we're holding me accountable because what I said, but it's also, I think it is being taken like I just said it from nowhere, where I was actually saying, and again, I mean, it doesn't excuse it because everybody's like, well, just because Seth said it doesn't make it right. And that's true, but it also doesn't make it not exist. Just because
I
it
think
is
we
so
all know
uncomfortable.
you, Granny. I think we all know you. I think we all know that we've all got good intentions. The thing about that is just how people wants to twist that around. Now they can take and twist. It may be a messed up ordeal, but then you take and twist and twist and twist again, and it keeps on getting twisted till it's right here now as we sit.
Hey,
I
Crystal.
totally get it, chasing. I just came up because it's like, for me, I'm speaking for only my hypocritical self. It is old. It's very old to just, we're constantly, I saw Megan VR's comment about the nitpicking, and that's what it feels like. It just constantly feels like, to be honest with you, sometimes I don't want to go live, and I'm being real honest here, because I don't feel like hearing about it later.
Mm-hmm. Well, and a lot of times when you're live, there's no pre-script, right? So either, sometimes you're having a conversation, you kind of forget you're live. Sometimes the conversation takes the direction you weren't planning it to go. Sometimes you say the wrong thing. Sometimes you say the right thing. Like, they just flow. There's no guidebook on how to do it. And doesn't mean we're not responsible for whichever direction it takes. We are. But I mean, maybe I'll just start doing videos from now on, because they do seem easier, to be honest. It does seem easier.
I'm sorry, chasing. Don't you apologize. I'm sorry. Don't you apologize.
It's a fair solution. Just quit talking about any parent of missed child, regardless if he has a channel or not. That's true. I mean, again, I wasn't necessarily talking about Seth. I was talking about what Seth said, but I do get that too, which is why I personally try to stay away from it.
None of this would have ever been brought up and never have been discussed if it hadn't been out of their own mouths. None of it would have been. And and I think most of everybody else knows that Granny didn't mean that in bad intent. We all know that.
Yeah, like I never, if I would have realized that could be taken as me putting that on that little girl, that's the last thing I want to do.
And I think
exactly.
Chase
and I think we've all got sense enough to know that.
Once she messaged you, once she figured out exactly what it was, like, you
Dude, I was devastated.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I said, probably. I should have said fucking possibly. I promise. I just not. It's not at all what I want. I would never want to add that to any child at all, ever. I mean, there are things that I fucking say and do, that are very 100% wrong. It could be mean, it could be cruel, it could be all those things, but I promise I would never intentionally put that on a child's name. And my time here calling out things, I've called that out when it comes to other children. I was
Granny,
reciting.
I think we already know that you wouldn't intentionally promote that or any of that.
But you know what? There are people that don't know that and will accuse. And I think Granny finishing her statement is fair enough. I really do, because there are people who will attack. Either they're going to attack everybody up here. I get it, but I'm just, Granny, please finish what you were saying.
I was just saying, I would never do that intentionally, is basically all I'm saying. And I'm sorry that I did. Like, I would never want to ever put that. I've always stood against it. I've stood strongly against it. If I would have known in that moment that the way I was phrasing that could be taken as that, I would never. I just, like, I'm as disappointed in myself as everybody else is. It's been a very, like,
shit happens though, Granny. It does. It really does. And I don't think it's a situation enough to drag, like, I don't know how to explain this. I don't think it warrants all of this.
It does, Jones. And if they believe my intention was of such, and some of these people do believe that was my intention. So it does.
Simply speaking on a parent, from what I'm seeing in chat from some, you are open for scrutiny no matter what you say, because there are 10,000 ways to flip it, burn it, whatever you want to call it. And that's the problem. We cannot define what's right for one and what's right for the other and all that stuff for the whole community.
Thank you for saying that. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Thank you for saying that.
So you're going to get the heat and the smoke if you mention them in a way that somebody says inappropriate. Like, just know that the moment you speak on a parent of a missing child, no matter what your intentions are, you are open for scrutiny.
Well, yeah, definitely.
And I stayed away from
it. I did a live speaking about Seth in his last interview with who was it? Oh, Vinny. No, did I drag him for filth? No, I brought up some inconsistencies and some weird things that he said. But yeah, you have to know that anytime you speak on them, that you're going to get some scrutiny. You're going to get people that don't fuck with it. And that's okay. I think it matters that Granny's saying, hey, I didn't realize how this came across. I think she's absolutely, holding herself accountable as well as having everybody else hold her accountable right now. And I can appreciate I probably shouldn't have used or phrased it the way I did, because it can come off like that. And Savage, I don't think you're speaking to anyone in particular. I think what you said just a minute ago is exactly what I said. The best way to avoid this all around is just, like, if we feel a conversation is going there, let's just stop it. Let's just nip it in the bud. That way there can be none of this.
I'm sorry if I came up and confused everyone. I really am. I was listening, and it really just, as a fellow hypocrite, and I admit, at least I fucking admit it. I'd like to see some of you people who are pointing fingers down there. As a fellow hypocrite, I'm willing to stand here and say, I'm sorry for confusing everybody, but I stand on what I say. Where's the line? Like, when is it okay to let it go and move on and be creative? When is that okay?
Right. And keep your street side of the street clean if you're going to speak on it. Right. If you have a problem with someone, of course, the scrutiny is going to come right back. Make sure your side of the street is clean. For instance, I'm just going to make an example. Like I said earlier, should we be seeing another creator's daughter being talked about in these videos of tragedy pimping because a creator had made an awful choice in speaking on it, but that's still exploiting a child? that has nothing to do with this platform. Even if the mother who is a creator said something about it, is it okay to let that slide? I don't think so.
I don't like when it happens to me. Sometimes as a channel, you want to be able to speak to your community about, things that you don't want the others to rip apart. So I don't like it.
Me either. Me either. It sucks.
Well, I
It
don't
makes you
think it
feel like
ever should
shit.
come to that. I think that all of y'all are great creators and stuff, and I just don't think that anybody needs to be beating up on the other one. You know, y'all are all doing it for the same thing. So speak the truth about it and speak, what you think about it. And yeah, some words are possible and probably, that's pretty close to, you know, saying the same thing, other than it means two different things. But I don't think that with any intent that Granny ever meant that.
Listen, I came from the Watts community, and there we talked about Watts for years, far longer than we should ever have talked about Watts. And there were arguments in there, and there were people that didn't like each other, but it was over the case, and there was exploitation, and it was nasty, but it didn't get like this. And I learned back then that people that I disliked or disagreed with, the next case I could potentially agree with.
Yeah. Well, at
Okay,
any given time, somebody's going to be after you. And that's wrong.
Deets said, to piggyback off of what Eve just said, then does that mean we should stop speaking on BHB, JLR, Dolly, etc.?
Right. That's my point. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? It goes for everybody, no matter what your motives, intentions are. If there is a potential victim or a victim being spoken on, or a someone who could be exploited, like a child, like a creator's child, like mine, that has been, and Granny's, we all need to shut up. We all have got to stop talking about everyone.
Well, now, Tess, that wasn't my theory. It's literal, pointed out timeline to the situation. It's not my theory.
Yeah, it was
That's what I
kind
think
of
being
a theory
misunderstood.
put out a little bit by Seth. Like that's what he was alluding to.
I mean, there a lot of it, because when he was brought up on Pascal's and he was asked to elaborate, he himself said, "Well, it might get your channel shut down." So there was a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I know it's taboo, and man, I wish I didn't touch it. I'll tell you that. But it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And it does. It happens every day in our world. It's an unfortunate, with cases and with true crime and with, all these things, there are very disgusting, ugly things. And that's the unfortunate part, right? So do we ignore all of the ugliness and only focus on what we want? Or some of these, look at what Madeline Soto went through. That's horrible. It's horrific.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of her
And
story.
that's hard to broadcast too. I mean, that's hard to, have up on your community. That's hard to even speak about.
It is.
Brantley, that might be true, but what if a creator has a situation in their household that makes it dangerous for people to talk about them and their children? You wouldn't know any better, but what if you were contributing to exploiting their child behind the scenes? You don't know what your actions and what you say affects people that aren't even on the streets, like I do, like my husband. So if you're going to do it and call out tragedy pimpers, which I hate that word, I'm just going to be honest, it's got to go for everybody. You can't talk about no creators. You can't talk about victims and their parents of missing children. It's all off. So what do we talk about?
Yeah.
Did you see
I mean-
Remy's comment? Because I thought that was a really good comment. I actually I would like to know the answer to that.
Whose comment?
Remy?
Remy. Oh, this one
Yeah.
was Pascal, BJ, etc. ignored because people expect that from them.
Well, I think to an extent, yeah, because Tragedy Pimps Exposed even said in the comments earlier, like it it disappointed her. She was disappointed hearing Granny say that. So I think it mattered more to her because she didn't expect it from Granny. Does that make sense?
Who
It
said
does
that?
to me. Thank you so much.
Who said
Well,
that?
y'all have a good night. And thank you
TP.
for letting me up
Oh,
here.
thank
Oh,
you.
you're
Pearls,
welcome, Pearls.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Good
Thanks for
night.
coming up. Good night.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Yeah,
It's
I get
TPE that
conflicted
said
on
that
too.
she was disappointed.
Yeah, I've disappointed her quite a lot lately. Yeah, touche. I think I have a problem with this as well, to be honest, where Dee says we got to be extremely cautious that, the child doesn't hear it. I don't think of when I'm speaking, I don't ever think of a child hearing it. And maybe that's something I have to consider. Can the child one day hear this? It's never crossed my mind to think like, oh, the child may be listening. You know what I mean? It's just never, I'm just being honest. It's never crossed my mind. And then I have to say, with utmost respect, again, this all started on Pascal, on Justin on TikTok, and they have a way larger audience. Matter of fact, I would go to say most people only became aware after the community post today. They had no idea what was stated on J's. It was like a 4 to 8 minute conversation out 4 hours, right?
I was
And
there
I'm not
and had
excusing
no
it.
idea.
I'm not excusing it, but if it was that harmful, why bring so much more light to it then? Are we then fighting the same thing? Like at that point, now are you as wrong as me because now you highlighted it too? You know what I mean? Like I do understand. I don't want to say I don't. But I do think that we each carry a responsibility.
And I think you're right. And I think that's what I said earlier. Like, does that make them just as wrong for highlighting it? Like, even as clip channels or highlighters or call outs, we have to be very careful because sometimes we bring attention to stuff that don't need more attention on it. You see what I'm saying? So,
well, and then sometimes you just have people with wrong intent hyping you up too, right? Like, so, I just.
Yeah, Deet said she wouldn't have known if it wasn't for everyone talking about it. Yeah. And
Me
like I said,
either.
I was in the stream. I was listening, I was chatting. I didn't even catch it. I really didn't. So,
And
but now I know.
Right. And that's
Jeez.
because the way the conversation, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, Jones, but when you being in there with the entire context of it, you can see that wasn't what I was doing. So of course it
Yeah.
didn't bring alarm to you because you heard the whole context. It was
Yeah, I was
stated
there. Yeah.
right. It was stated I never pointed out that this all came from Seth. Yes, I did. Like I don't know how much further in, 'cause it wasn't that long conversation. I said, go into what Seth said, show me yours, I'll show you mine type of, that's where my mind went. And it wasn't, I never, ever, ever consider physical. I don't even think, I would never believe that any parent having warning signs would not be on top of things. I don't.
No, I get it. I get it.
Well, it should be, Chasen, because she denied from the beginning that Steph said any of it. It should be. Steph said it. And if it's so harmful, then go call out BJ right now. But the fact of the matter is, her friend, her moderator, the person she allows on her panel to do other gross sexual tone things, he said it.
And listen, TikTok, go over to TikTok for a minute and the lives that they go over with Sebastian's case. I'm gonna tell you, those are some tragedy pimps. With those gifts just being thrown. I mean, there is another platform if you need
the
more.
gifts over there. It's
The
insane.
gifts, dude. I just can't with that. So at least there is dialogue on panels where viewers can discuss these things openly. Yes, be mindful of your words and how you say it.
Oh yeah.
Right? I mean,
remember, you guys, we're the classy bitches over here.
Well, to be honest, I have a very limited vocabulary anyway, so don't expect too much from me.
Listen, you could kick a trash can and I'd fall out of it. You wouldn't know the difference behind this screen, okay? Right? It's your words, it's your behavior, it's how you.
I've said it years ago and I still say it now and I'll say it to your face. I said it before, but I swear if you want to make money, you should come up with your dictionary because that shit would sell.
What about my 2-page dictionary?
No, the dictionary of the word. Did you say wrong? It would be
Oh.
great.
No, that would
It would
be
be
endless.
fun as hell.
And hey, you know what? Maybe Seth doesn't need or want somebody to advocate for them as a victim. Maybe that makes them feel a certain way. We don't know. So everybody's actions on both sides may have an effect.
I agree.
We can't
I-
assume anything.
But I do find it funny to like rip apart what I said when that particular person just had a panel guest up there out of thin air say that Chris Proudfoot was doing that to Sebastian. And that's not based on anything we've been told. It's not based on anything any parents have been said. That's based off their own disdain for the Proudfoots. What I stated came out of the mouth of Seth Rogers on several different panels come together. I mean, I know it's, again, it doesn't excuse it, but there's a big difference here in like pulling out a conspiracy story based out of, rabbit holes and being too deep in the case and all that, than pointing out the logical of what was stated.
Yeah, because Seth said that he believed that Chris was worried that Sebastian would mimic the behaviors.
No, he said that he didn't want Sebastian near the little girl. And then he went on to say that Chris's mother messaged him and said, your messaged his mom and said, Chris messaged Seth's mom and said, your grandson's a P word. And then when Seth was asked to elaborate on the not getting the proper help and all that, he said it would get your stream shut down. So instead, he gave different examples, like being in the bathroom and things. So it was the tone came from Seth. And it's not, I'm not saying it's okay. So please spare me. I'm like literally exhausted. I'm just saying I didn't fabricate any of it out of like my own like sick mind.
Like, Granny, I wanted to jump off, but say something really quickly. You have expressed yourself and your intentions, and you have apologized for going there. You've done all the things. I think we can all agree you have asked for forgiveness in certain ways, but know that your truth is your truth and all that stuff. Just when you hear the opinions of others after this live right now, you will know what the legitimate reason was for why this happened. And I think you understand what I'm saying.
I do.
I just want it to stop for everybody. Like it's boring. I just want it to stop for everybody. If we're going to hold everybody accountable on things, and I'm not even going to go into it. I'm done. I
feel with you. Like I do agree that what I said was reckless. I acknowledge that. I shouldn't have phrased it the way I did. I never, my mind didn't go where others that heard me took it. And I am sorry for that. I should have been way more cautious with my words. But I do think there are actual very harmful things out here being stated. And I do feel like part of this is being highlighted because it's me.
I'm going to jump down, you guys. I didn't mean to make a bigger thing out of it. I really didn't.
No, you did good.
Came up.
Yeah.
I'm reading some comments and I'm like,
never look at the chat while you're on panel, girlfriend.
You told me that before. I didn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
I just,
I'm gonna jump down. Thank you, Jones.
Thank you, Eve. Thanks for coming up.
Bye, Eve. It was nice to talk to you.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
I'm going to hop down too so you two can hold your conversation. Thank you for letting me up, Jones, and I appreciate it.
Of course. Anytime. Anybody's welcome.
Good luck, Granny.
Thank you.
I don't know. Maybe you won't.
I just
can fail, and it's all because I don't know why. I give up.
I'm more like fuck the channel. You know what I mean? I hate that people think that I would ever do that. I do. I hate that.
Well, yeah, like I said, when I heard the comment, I disagreed with what I heard as well. I'm not, but you've clearly apologized. You've clearly straightened it out a million times. If you can let it go, I'm hoping everyone else can at this point.
Thank you.
I'm just tired of creators picking on each other. Jesus. Oh.
That's what I try saying, Genevieve. And thank you so much to you. It means a lot. Thank you.
No worries. Don't thank me. It's all good. Jonesin, you're doing an awesome job. I enjoy your channel. Have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you. You too.
And then there was
Can
you
we
and
all
me.
just get along?
I wish.
Let's see. Somebody said something.
I didn't Canadian Nana. That did not. I don't know where that came from, but it sure as hell wasn't me. Most recent thing going around about this CPS call was made from Seth's last visit with Sebastian. That Seth was one being blank to Sebastian. I did not hear that, and that did not
I
start
haven't
or come
heard
from
that
me.
either. I have not heard that.
You ever come out that Chris punched face so hard it made her bleed? That's what Cher said tonight. Oh, wow.
Oh
yeah.
my Lord. See?
So long as you collab. You know what I mean? No.
It's
I've never.
just insane. And I will say while I'm here, like,
Thank you,
I
Gary.
appreciated, okay, I'm gonna think of how I want to say this. I did listen to when Voices went up on Queens, and I appreciated the way they responded instead of attacking, because I feel like that's kind of what she wanted. And I want to say to Voices right here, right now, you have no way in hell of being the moral authority, bitch. You need to just sit down and shut the fuck up and stop trying to come after other people when you do just as nasty, if not worse, shit. I'm tired of seeing that shit. Get over it. She ran over there giddy as fuck to tell
I know.
them.
Queen, did you hear? Did you hear what Granny did? I heard her in all her glory, and then how disappointed was she when they didn't go along with her? And she's like, I gotta go. Yeah, we know
then
you
she had to
do.
leave. Yeah, no,
You
fuck that.
would have sang,
You
got
are
all your giddies off if you could have. We know.
you are no moral authority, girl. You are batshit crazy. Anyways, I just wanted to make that known.
I've heard her fantasize sexual things with children many times, including me with my own. So yeah, she has no right at all.
Yeah, when she said what she said about you and your son. Yeah,
Yeah.
like come on now, Voices. Shut the fuck up. Go knit or something. Don't you got a new boyfriend? Go steal some more weed eaters. Do something else.
Good for her. Go swim in the lakes. It's just the fact that that's what she went up there for. Like, you know it. Like, everybody knew it. I really appreciated just Samantha going up, and I appreciate the way B Tim responded. And you know,
Me too.
I do think those who maybe have been have paid attention to what Seth has been saying, they understood what was being said. But those who are, you know, blinded by Seth, or they support him, or those who haven't really been following along, they didn't understand it all. Which is why when, like, it was Voices that said, I never said it came from Seth. Yes, I did. Like, a little bit into the conversation, I did.
Yeah. I went back and listened today. You absolutely did. And that's why I said, I messaged you. I was like, I think maybe a replay of when you responded to Brittany J. Brittany J was like, Seth didn't say this. Seth didn't say this. And you did a live and pointed out every single time he did allude to that and say those things.
Sure did.
And that might be necessary, you know, like even just up as a video so people can go to it if they need to or reference it. But you absolutely said Seth said it.
Well, here's the dilemma I had, because I consider that myself, like if I just put together a video, but then from what I'm hearing from most people that took issue with it is they don't want it repeated at all. So then it's like, okay, well then I'm not going to do the video, but you know, it's out there. I can direct people to it, but I'm not going to make the video highlight.
Should we shut up and not bring up the exploitation of his own child at all?
That's what I'm wondering. I don't know. I don't know where.
Because that was the worst part of anything he's done to me, was that interview on Pascal where he released that information. That is the main thing that makes me not fuck with Seth.
Right. Well, and then he went up on BJ's and shared that time Sebastian woke up. I mean, who does that?
Oh my God. Yeah. The wet dream. Yes. No, we're not. Yeah. Like, why would you do that? See, that's what I'm saying. But people don't want that called out because he's the father of a missing child. Listen, I sympathize with him being the father of a missing child. Do I think he had anything to do with it? Not necessarily.
No.
But regardless, if you're the father of the missing child or not, being the father of the missing child, you should be more responsible with the things you're coming on public platforms with thousands of people watching. You should be responsible for what you say. He absolutely exploited his child. And I absolutely feel I have a right to call it out if I want to. But we have to realize, Granny, if we're going to call that shit out, there's going to be people that have a problem with it. And that's okay.
Right. Of course. I absolutely agree. He was wrong, but why is it right to share it over and over when nobody shared it over and over? And I think that's where the problem has been for me, because I feel like it's very relevant and others don't want to touch on it because it's taboo and it's horrible. And I get that and I respect that. And I was excited that somebody else saw it the way I did. And I wasn't cautious with my wording. I just wasn't. But it doesn't mean that I made that up, because it was absolutely out there. And then that same question goes to say, if what I said was so horrible, why bring such highlight to that too, right? Like, it can go all ways.
It absolutely, yeah, all of it can be true at once. Absolutely. But I think you've done what you needed to do. I appreciate TPE coming in and commenting back and forth. She said she appreciated the accountability you took for wording that wrong and saying it the wrong way. That to me is a step forward.
Jones, and as soon as I heard it, bitch, no, you didn't. Like, I fucking knew. I'm like, why the hell? I meant to say possibly, not probably. Why did I do that?
Shit happens, baby. We fuck up and say things all the time.
We do, but I'm still accountable for it. But I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Nice Guy. I could not make myself any more clear that I deserve what is happening. I just think some of you better make sure your hands clean, because, well, if I'm not going to be what you call tragedy baby pimping or whatever it was, then I got a lot of time to find something else. And I will dig just as deep into everybody's skeletons, and we'll see who comes out with the shiny star. That's where I'm at with it. Some people have the right to call me out. I respect it. I understand it. I appreciate constructive criticism. I know when constructive criticism turns personal, I'm not stupid. I know how to read a room. I have I can vibe. I can feel people's vibes. I will not have anybody putting intentions on me, especially if they don't fucking know me. That's not going to happen. And yeah, people that are going to keep digging out my past or my so-called skeletons or anything like that, well, let's see where your skeletons lie. That's all. I don't think any of us came here on the scenes and did perfectly. Any of us.
I try not to base my opinion off of skeletons. Like, I try to base how I feel about you on the present and the now. And yeah, that was bad wording, but it's not something I'm willing to, go after you for. TP said, I agree. It was heartbreaking for him to say that and all the gross things. It should be called out. I just think it can be done without repeating the words, in her opinion.
Well, if I may, how would you do that then? Respectfully asking. If we're not
playing the clips is worse.
Right. And I'll be honest, when me and Chasen actually held this conversation months back. I don't know why it wasn't pitchforks then, but when we did that, we didn't use Steph's words, and then we were accused of lying and making it up ourselves. Hence that whole argument that came in where I had to play Steph's words because Brittany said I made it up. When at that point, the only person who made that up at that point was her, because I said it after Steph said it. She said it before, whatever. So how do you do that in a way that is like, I just rather not touch it, because I feel like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You're not always going to, there's no way to get everybody's approval on how to say and do things. And I'm not very, I don't know. I'm very, I don't know, like maybe video. How do you do that without playing the words? This is my main question. I'm sure they do, Mr. Raccoon. I'm sure they do.
I don't even remember what the whole convo was about, but I was in there chatting right along with it. I was, what was it, Granny? It wasn't about the essay. That's not what it was about.
That particular convo was acknowledging that there has been a sexual undertone the entire time that Seth has brought out here, and that it is unfortunately part of the timeline, I think is what it was. But that wasn't the entire conversation. That was like a small snippet. Possibly even doing something to his daughter. No one wanted to hear that part, though. I hate this place at times. Yeah, like I don't even know how to explain what it was. I just remember, I just shouldn't have said it. I didn't listen to it all the way through because, again, it's not my proudest moment. I couldn't believe I said it myself, to be honest, the way I did. But it was basically saying, like, this is an unfortunate thing that Seth has put out here, but I feel like it is significant. I do feel like it is significant. I mean, this is right before Sebastian disappeared. It's right before he disappeared. And I know, again, it's not a fun thing to talk about, but it does happen.
It absolutely does. And like, I don't know. I just feel like I understand a little bit of the anger to the way the sentence was formed, but I
Yeah.
felt like it was unfair to make it seem like that's what the whole discussion was about. And I don't think TPE said that. I think it was Maniacs that said it was what the whole discussion was about. And I was in there the whole time and I didn't hear like that was just a little part of the discussion, like
That's how
the
I felt.
discussion was way bigger than that. Anyway,
Yeah, like you said, we can't get into that because Mr. Nice Guy will say we're making excuses, but I've done streams about that before, and you know, I just wish I didn't do it.
Hello.
hey,
That's
wait.
true. That's true, Eliza. But I also don't feel like I'm the one that done that. Like I feel like we've all participated into adding this into a circus. Every single one of us, and mainly because his father has presented it that way. Anyway.
Hey, well, that's part of the reason that I came up because again, this very, very sensitive discussion, and it should be sensitive for so many reasons, especially whenever there's a missing child attached to that. But it's constantly mishandled, in my opinion, on this platform. I do think it's wrong that Granny in particular is being vilified for it whenever there are a lot of other creators who are basically mentioning it daily. They're just being a lot more creative with their language. So is that the problem? Is it the language part that was the problem?
I think so, to be honest. I think that's what I'm gathering. It was the language part.
Poorly chosen word. Yeah.
You can allude to it. You can say whatever you want without basis. Just don't say the words. Is that because that's insane?
Well, that's
Look
how
what Emily said.
I just watched a video on that. That was horrific. She said it with certainty too. Like she saw it. Like she knew it.
That's crazy.
That's what I was asking. If it's okay to acknowledge that it is part of the storyline, part of the timeline, but just you have to be cautious how you do it. Or don't play his words when doing it. It becomes hard because then you do have people saying you made it up. Like even Voices Today said, "Oh, I didn't know that came from Seth." Well, yeah, it did. And many people don't because it is taboo to play it. I'm pretty sure that stream me and Joneson did. I mean, Chasen, I put it on, it's on private because I felt I kind of like we knew. And I said, here it goes. It's being twisted and misunderstood. Do we play him saying it or do we not? Because it is like I battle with that myself. But unfortunately, it is out there and it is. I get it, though. You don't have to perpetrate it. I get it. I get it.
Don't highlight what, Deets? What did you say not to highlight? My bad. Did I highlight something I shouldn't have? Oh, Lord. I probably did. My bad. Okay, they want a chicken dance real quick, so y'all pause just for a second. They want a chicken dance. They said this shit is heavy.
Twerk that ass. Come on. Twerk that ass. Come on. Twerk that ass. Come on. Twerk that ass. Move that ass. Let the right go work that ass. Twerk that ass. Come on. Twerk that ass. Come on.
Now, if that little chicken butt didn't make you smile, I don't know what will.
I'm just thinking how many people are going to say, why would you play that right now?
Oh my God. I thought about that too. Like people are going to be like, that's such a sensitive topic. It is. But listen, the chat wanted to see something different to break everything up. It is what it is. People will come for me for that though. It's okay.
I think so.
What's going on in chat?
Don't say his name now.
I swear, I really do feel like this
often, but in a lesser extent. But today,
Okay,
I
LFT.
genuinely feel like I'm having a whole out of body experience. I haven't done any of the no things, so there should be no reason for that to be a thing. Yet it feels like there are so many layers of meta to what is happening that we're ignoring a very important discussion, and in the meantime, there are people just taking swipes at each other left and right. I mean, if you don't think that that's pathetic, whenever we're meant to be talking about something that is exceptionally serious, I don't know what to tell you.
That's how
This
I
should
feel with.
be important. It should be.
It should be.
Dates is the only one who turns off her desire for monetization. She lets it go and she gives the words the appropriate weight because those words matter. Any of us that are survivors, those words matter.
Yeah, but then you run the chance way of triggering somebody when you use
But
the actual
there's
word.
a way to advise people before they come into your stream.
I
There's
did
a
that,
way
and I was
to
accused of telling them that their feelings didn't matter. When literally that's all I said. Like, listen, I get this is heavy, and if it is, then respectfully, maybe not be here today. Not like, oh, I don't care about your feelings, but then it was taken like, oh, my feelings don't matter. I'm like, first off, I wasn't even talking to you, so I don't know where that came from. But no, of course your feelings matter, but your feelings don't matter any more than mine, and your story doesn't matter any more than mine, and your experience isn't any more experienced than my experience is experienced, right? So like we're all coming from our own personal ways, and I'm with you, Wee. I think it's very damn important.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with chat. Tragedy Pence they meant by saying sensitive words.
Like, what do? You put a banner up, Wee? Like, how do you handle it, really? Or you just don't touch it because it's taboo and somebody's going to disagree with how you do it.
Well,
Mom
that's the
thinks
easy way. That's the way that most people seem to be handling it, by taking the lazy route out and not having the difficult discussion, not using the words, not being able to handle the fact that yes, you probably will, unfortunately, end up either accidentally triggering someone, or you need to offer support for people. There needs to be a whole layered effort there. It shouldn't be a quick and easy thing to hit the go live button and talk about something so heavy. It shouldn't. But we're not doing it.
Right, but some are. Some are doing just that right now, but under the guise of calling me out, right? But they're doing the same damn thing. They're holding the same damn conversation. It's the same thing.
It's exhausting, to be honest. Like
I
the community fighting going on nonstop. It's
craziness. It really is. I feel like I want to
so
just take the
much.
chickens and run off to the end of the garden and be like, see ya, everybody, bye.
Well, so, and you know what? Like Brett Light just said, the triggering is being used as a crutch, and I did see that. Like, and I'll be honest, it's triggering for me too. But when these are part of it is part of the timeline. It's part of the storyline. It's backed up with statements and with facts, and it's not just pulled out of thin air. So because it's so damn ugly, and we don't want to fathom it ever happening. We pretend it didn't.
Can you play the full clip of what Granny Watchin said so people can decide without the gaslighting?
Yeah, go to the timeline. Stop the grip.
Who's gaslighting?
Me, apparently. You're just damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If I come out here and say you guys are right, fuck me. I said I should have never said that. I wish I wouldn't have done it. Didn't do it in that tone. It's gaslighting. If you can't. That's what I mean with some people. You will never fucking win. And I beat myself up enough to not sit here and I don't.
Well, I feel like if you were gaslighting, you wouldn't be taking accountability for saying it.
Jones, and do you know
Right?
if I went live right now and said, fuck you and your feelings, do you know how much more? Like, you know what I mean? If I was like a tragedy pimp and I wanted to expose and make all the money, I'd have turn on today. I'd go live in a little bit that said just that, fuck you and your feelings. And I stand 10 toes deep and be a cocky, arrogant bitch. But instead, I'm admitting, yeah, I was fucked, man. It was so wrong of me. I didn't come out how I wanted. It should have never been discussed. I don't even know what led us into the topic. I wish the topic never had been had. And I definitely used the wrong word. I should have said possibly, not probably. My sincerest apologies. Get me next week. I'll fuck up again, I promise. You know,
Same.
but what else?
Can I
Welcome,
add something,
LFT.
Granny? Because you're not under pressure enough. Is that it's also not underlining, but underlying. It's a real personal bugbear I have. And I think I've almost developed like a twitch and it's not just you that does it. That's way more flippant than all the rest, but I just thought you would find it funny to shout at me for 5 minutes instead of everybody else.
Oh, I get to yell at you?
Yeah, everybody else does.
could.
Fears between ignoring and yelling. Those are the two options, apparently.
I could never do it. I couldn't do it. Look at the cute little teddy bear staring at me. That's crazy.
I feel like the nitpicking does get to a point where it makes creators feel like they don't know what's okay to say, what's not okay to say. It's very confusing. And it feels like it's getting where we're getting completely cut off to where we can't talk about anything.
I'm not getting mad at people criticizing me by any means. I'm getting mad at those who just want to criticize me, such as yourself, who has been in the chat all night trying to get personal with me, writing personal comments towards me. I honestly, one of the people trying to get me worked up. I can probably guess what alt you are, to be honest, by it. And yeah, it is very triggering. It's very triggering when nothing you say will ever be good enough. It is very triggering. Do you want accountability? Do you want change behavior? Do you want apology? Or you know what I mean? Because I know I'm wrong. I'm giving it. Believe me, I am a very stubborn person. If I didn't feel like I was wrong, if I didn't hear back and go, oh shit, and heard it myself and say, yeah, that was fucked, I wouldn't come out here and say so.
But can I piggyback on that? Because that was actually kind of what I heard a few minutes ago, and that I just wanted to say. And because Granny, I think it happens to you a lot, like it happens to a lot of us in the midst of coverage and the intensity like that, like it becomes personal sometimes. And like that anger, like we snap. So like we'd say things that we're like, oh no, I shouldn't have said that. And it was something like, and I mean this as like the most constructive criticism, sincerely. It's not at all an attack, but instead
Thank you, Melissa.
that anger that just got the best of you a few minutes ago, where you were like, okay, well, I can go in and dig into everything or whatever
yeah,
we said.
Like I can pull out everybody's skeletons. Yeah. Absolutely.
But boom, right there, you just, everything that you've said and done before that statement, it just got eradicated, because that's what's that's what people will take away. And unfortunately, that's what seeps in to this coverage of true crime when it comes to creators, in my opinion. Aspects like that there's a personal issue, a hatred, a dislike, whatever you want to qualify it as, it seeps in. It becomes that personal element, and the BS drama seeps into the coverage. And that's where I think, and I need to hold myself accountable for that as well, because I know I do it at times too. But like you saw me, I typed it in chat a second ago because I was like, dang it, like right there, Granny, like that right there. And I wasn't trying to attack you. I was being like, it just.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean?
But I
and
feel like
I
feel like those who only walk away with that is because that's all they wanted to hear. Like, I am tired of being responsible for what people walk away with. You know what I mean?
But because you're right. But no, you're absolutely right. But at the same time, it's the whole thing that we all have to learn how to deal with, is that we can't control anyone else any more than we can control the weather. And we can continue to put ourselves in certain situations and understand if we keep doing the same thing's going to happen. So granted, of course, in a moment of anger or whatnot, you may have every right to have said what you just said, kind of deal. But like that's where it's like all of a sudden you hold yourself to a higher standard. and actually, I mean this for all of us creators, like, boom, catch yourself, say it offline. I don't know, write it down on a piece of paper, but change your behavior and don't give everyone else the opportunity and don't allow it to bleed in to the coverage. And I'm just using Sebastian because that's what we're talking about right now. Like, that's what kills me is when
But see, you even
I
just
think,
questioned yourself on even saying his name right there.
Right.
but I guess, but that's, I mean that for Sebastian or for whatever case it is. I mean, that's what's being covered right now. So like, I
What
hate saying his name, but I'm also acknowledging the situation in this moment in time of like what's being discussed and what just happened. And we don't want that like the pettiness and the quote unquote drama, because I feel like it becomes more, we lose
when
sight
you
of like the heart of the matter.
when you agree that's what's happening right now, though? That's exactly
Yeah.
what's happening right now. It's because Granny said it. And now instead of the focus being on Sebastian or the actual concern of how harmful the statement was, now everybody's highlighting the statement. Everybody's revisiting it. And now that statement has spread to a further reach. So if it is, I get what you're saying, but I'm also asking, like, isn't that what we've seen for the past 6 months? Because quite frankly, there's been no new information in the last 5 at least. So it has taken a personal. We do put our personal selves into what we talk about, right?
Yeah, you're right. But if I'm looking at it as in today and whatever, the quote unquote probably comment and whatnot, if we're just using that as an example, okay, that's happened and you've taken today, you've taken accountability for it, tried to explain yourself and realize like you've acknowledged maybe that, some people may have taken it one way or seen it another way, et cetera, et cetera. But you've come forward, you said your piece, it's gone a day. Don't do it again tomorrow. If people are still
No,
going to talk,
no, let it lie
yeah,
here.
don't let,
Yeah.
yeah, it's done. And that's and then the only thing that I picked up on, I was like, oh my God, and then those moments where I get it, like we all have moments where you're just like, son of a nutcracker, like I could do this, and this. And you can feel that way, but I just encourage you, like, don't say it because it just takes away from all that work that you've done today in every place that you, or just even on Jones, and I don't know where the hell you've been
I,
today. So I don't, but I mean, just
I get it.
addressing it here, I don't want that to be the takeaway,
I've been sleeping.
Right.
you know.
Well, and I want to clarify, I don't just evaluate what I said on here. Like, I've actually pondered it offline. Like, I've sat with it, I've listened to it, I spoke to others about it. Like, I don't just like come on here and tell people what I think they want to hear and it's like all is good. Like, I've been beaten up about it all day. Like, I feel fucking horrible for it. It's the
Well,
first
that's
thing
what
I woke up.
Chasen said, that
Yeah.
you've been having private conversations with her all day since you got off your live this morning.
I get it. I get what I did. I get it. What can I do to make up for it, if anything? And I don't
think you're
think they're,
doing it.
no,
I
I don't
think you're
think some
doing it.
people want it.
Well, then
You
that's on
can't
them. Then
you
that's
can't
on
make
them.
up for it. What's done is done.
Done. Yeah.
If there's acknowledgement that there was some unintentional wrongdoing there, no matter what it may be, then the way that you change is by not doing it again in the future. You're aware of it now, so
Yeah.
you understand it. There's no taking things away. You
Right.
just can't.
This
Wish we
comment,
could.
I was trying to figure out, did you say that
No.
Sebastian's a cash cow? So why are
No.
you putting that on Granny,
I
Gemini?
actually stood up and said I stand against that. I don't
Yeah,
like
why are
that.
you putting that on Granny? That was on a whole nother creator.
Yeah, it wasn't me. I said I don't like that. Hawk us her Pokemon cards.
Listen, those are my cards too. I've put a lot of money into these cards. No, I think you've done what's necessary. I think that even just the little bit of conversation you and TPE were able to have back and forth with her in chat is necessary. I think it was great that y'all were able to have that conversation.
Yeah.
She said she appreciates that accountability. It's just nothing to stew over. I mean, you've learned. The only thing you can do is try to do better.
Good
Yeah.
Gemini, can I ask, you seem very vocal down there. Can you tell
Can I?
us exactly what you would like us to do to Granny? Do you want us to take her out and smack her around the head? What
Beat her.
is it you want us to do? I don't understand.
Well, fair me with a good time. Can I just thank them for comparing me
Hey.
to a politician? It's the most professionalism they've ever given my ass. And don't tell me which one. Let's keep it where it's at. We're on a good track. Oh,
Kelsey,
shit.
I think you would. I think you would. Yeah, I don't know. Gemini's got a hard on for you, Granny. I don't know what's
I
going
know.
on down there.
Them and their little alt account buddies. It's cool. A lot of people do. And that's why, well, what else can you do? It's like, there are some people that will just always have a hard on for you. Nothing you say is good. Nothing you say is sufficient. They'll dig apart everything. There's people like that. There are others that don't see me in a negative light. So they do see the good that comes from me. And they understand my intent when I screw up. And that's why they support me in moments like this, because they don't always have a negative look on me. Some will say I'm gaslighting. Some will say I'm like a politician, whatever it may be. That's fine. I don't know how to get any more like real and genuine than I've been. And I hate that people still call it fake, for fuck's sake. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd say is people think it's all I say facade, but I'm pretty sure the word's facade. So whatever one it may be.
You're getting there. You're getting there, kid. You're getting there.
It was the second one, wasn't it? I know.
Yes.
And I question myself.
Listen, I just say keep doing what you're doing. Keep trying to be better, a better person. That's all we can all do. And just don't hover over this. It's not worth it. Deet said moments like this are perfect for growth. I know Jay. I'm Jay. Hey, Jay. And I have felt hypocritical at times with things we've said, and it gives you a moment to reflect and do better. It absolutely does. Like when I hashtag Sebastian in a drama stream, unsupervised came in here and got that ass. And I argued with her. I was very intent on keeping it in there because I felt like it was something people needed to know if they looked up Sebastian. But afterwards, I had to reflect on that and say, okay, but is it something people really need to know? And I ended up removing it. Self-reflection's good. These conversations are good, and I respect and appreciate them.
Yeah, me too. I wish I was a little less of the focus of them, but I do appreciate them, and I appreciate people that give me a chance and accept the fact that, I'm gonna F up. I'm gonna F up for sure.
We're all going to.
Yeah. And don't you agree though, Jones? And it does get hard. Like if you internally feel like you said, you felt like his name needed to be hashtag. You felt like you wanted people to see it, but at the same time, you knew somebody was going to call you out for it, right? So like at that point, what do? Do you go with your gut, or do you go with this spare me the rod?
I think that comes down to us wanting to please people, Granny. I think we have to eventually realize that we're not gonna be able to please everybody, and all we can do is stick to our own truths, what our intentions are, and keep it moving. I feel like that's the only way we're gonna get through this.
Yeah,
because it's a lot.
I always give grace to people. Stop the grift. I always give grace to people. The clip's been played all over. The timestamps have been given. Jonesin can play it right now if she'd like. Nobody's avoiding the clip by any means. And I offer people a lot of grace because I need a lot of grace. And I've been hard on people in the past. And I've been part of lynch mobs and hate crowds and all of that. And I've experienced them. And since experienced them, I never want to put somebody on the receiving end of them again. Like it sucks. It's definitely a really shitty feeling. And that's why I'm asking. I think sometimes we have to be honest. It's not that you don't want to become that pit in the middle of those pitchforks again. Right. So you tiptoe around what we're saying, what we're doing, and it becomes an internal conflict. And I'm sorry, I'm going to disappoint people because I'm going to be myself and I'm going to say things that some may not like, some wouldn't say, I'm never going to match anybody's idea of perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not a professional. I'm just your average person that has a passion for things, and sometimes the passion will succeed and I'll be too worked up, or, whatever, whatever. Maybe I'll log off and so I can be a little more professional and a little less passionate, and then that way maybe I'll have a chance at doing something different one day. But Sebastian's case is very passionate to me. The whole undertone of it, everything is very passionate to me, and I hate that it's a taboo topic because we shouldn't feel shamed for it, and we should be able to discuss these things like adults. I hate that we have to censor words. We have to say on the live instead of the other one. We have to say SA instead of what it is. We have to constantly, censor ourselves to what is socially acceptable to the point where we don't even speak on things because we're unsure if they're acceptable or not. But they're a part of life. And it's a part of this case, and it's a part of everyday life, and it sucks, but it's there.
And it's also part of where I disagree with this idea of not being able to challenge in some way the parents or the caregivers for a child if they are coming out and making such wild statements as we have heard, such as the wet dream incident, where that angers me to a point that I can't even begin to explain. It's one of the times where my words really do fail me because the rage that I feel there is very primal, because I feel so sad that somebody would do that to that child in that way, say that so carelessly. But apparently this community doesn't give a toot about it.
Right. And yes, while it's Sebastian's story, it's also the story of many. It's also the story of many. And all I keep hearing is like this, like this shame being associated with it that I disagree with. I don't agree that we should, kind of make it like, oh, like there's a shame to it. I mean, I think that would be the worst thing of all is gosh forbid Sebastian ever came and heard his father say these things. Then he hears all these other people putting this shame to it, and then he feels shamed for what he experienced. I don't think there should be that shame aspect to it.
No, I don't think so either. But there will be.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you feel a little better. I don't know. You might feel worse.
I got a pounding headache, and I just keep thinking, what kind of Pokemons you got? What are you doing? What are you doing to them to Stevie down here?
Stevie's being an asshole. I got lots of Pokemon. Stevie's being a hater.
You play Pokemon Go and...
Well, I did, but now Caden's taken over that account, so he just plays it. But we go to the graveyard around here because that's where our little Pokestop is. Oh my God, there's all kinds of Pokemons in there.
Yeah.
And the little battle things, but that's what I'm gonna do as soon as I'm done here. I haven't ate dinner because I didn't expect it to go this way, but I'm gonna eat dinner and finish my Pokemon organization.
My Lord. And on that nerdy level, I'm out. Thank you very much for having me up. Bye, everybody.
Says the Ewok.
Thanks for coming, Wee.
You see how she just did you like that? Like she doesn't have a cartoon
know.
Ewok. I'll tell you. Earl Jones, and I hope you catch them all. And I hope you don't catch any shit for having me. Thank you.
Even if I do, I don't care, Granny. It's fine.
I do appreciate it.
For everything.
I know. I'm sorry. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for being here, Granny. Woo! Lord Jesus. I think there's a lot more crazy shenanigans we can focus on, but I do appreciate and understand the way the wording was that Granny said that TPE and unsupervised got upset with. I absolutely do understand that, because as soon as I went back and listened this morning, I messaged Granny. I was like, I think it was this specific thing. So I do understand, but I also don't believe her intentions were bad when she was speaking on it. So we're just going to leave it right there. We're going to let it lie. I don't think this is anything to keep waterboarding people with. I hope that everybody gets a good night's rest and has a great Monday tomorrow. It's the start of another week. Lord. Now I'm going to go eat dinner and organize my Pokemon haters. Thank you for everybody being here, showing your love and support, whether you are for or against Granny, whatever it be. Thank you for being here. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you hit that like or the dislike on your way out, and I will catch you on the flip side.
Deep down, we are all the same. We all want to be happy. We cry when we're hurt. We're angry when we've been mistreated. And to be liked, accepted, and respected, not to mention loved, is the greatest gift of all. Yes, we're all alike. On that note, take care of yourself and each other.
We are swimmers.